Okay, guys, thank you for joining. Open houses, I know they're fewer and harder to come across in this environment, but if you can get your hands on one, everybody should be doing them. This is the way to meet people face to face. It's always been and still is one of the best ways to meet prospective buyers and sellers. So you really have to be out there in order to successfully meet them. So I just want to go over open house engaging and closing dialogues. I think, you know, doing an open house is one thing, but engaging people and building the relationship and following up is another portion of that. And so we really have to be more proactive in making sure that we're doing those activities afterwards. If you're going to take spend the day on a Saturday or Sunday or a weeknight or whenever it is to host an open house, take time away from your family, your friends, your own personal time, and make sure you're doing everything you can to, you know, convert buyers and sellers from it. So open house best practices: welcome every guest and treat them like an honored guest. The quality customer experience you provide starts at the front door. Before touring the home, engage the guest with your various open house tools. Use open-ended questions to uncover needs and build rapport. And select questions that will start a conversation with an opportunity to show your value. Show what you know, then show the house. Don't predetermine who is a serious buyer and who is not. And close for the sale with every single guest. So resources to show your value: a market statistics absorption rates template. Or if you're doing a open house in a town that I share the absorption rate with each month, then just print that out. It's easy. I mean, each week I should say, just print it out. Guide to the process, home protection plan flyer, card tap app. Everybody should have that on their phone. That's the app on your phone with Anthony Rosamelia's face. Rent versus buy chart flyer, customer journey home buying flyer, your website information, and all under one roof team of advisors. So Stephanie has put together, we put together a new open house flyer for you guys. And it was a little bit more difficult because we did each one personally. And the reason why it was done personally is we added your QR code to it so that your clients can, or anyone coming through can just do the QR code, which everybody is using these days. QR codes are huge. You know, they started a few years ago, never really accumulated to anything. And now because of COVID, everybody's using QR codes, right? You go in, you just hold up your photo, it automatically brings you to the website. You can read menus, you can read anything. It's awesome. So we decided to do that and put it in. So I was waiting for our awards sales meeting, which I believe is going to be this week. And so that was going to be something we're going to give out to everybody. So we'll just email them to you guys, and you can, you know, put them in a nice frame, or we gave frames out a few years ago. Change the one that's currently in your frame, but again, that's huge, and that will take people to your website, and that's what you want. And then you're all under one roof team of advisors. So does everybody know where to go to get the resources for your open houses? So you would go on to your KV Core platform, and then on the side panel on the bottom, you'd click on to Wiker Tools. Once you've clicked onto Wiker Tools, it takes you into where all the tiles are. And you're going to go into the Tools and Resources tile. So the Tools and Resources tile has all of the resources that you need, not only for an open house, but for basically anything that you need. Let me push you guys down there. Okay. So this is the market absorption rate resource that they were speaking about in the slide. You know, success flyer. There's just so many things to see here. I know the rent to own flyer is in here, right? So all of these things you want to have. So this is where you get these resources. And the thing is, if once you do it and you have it, you don't have to come in every week and do it, right? You should do enough so that you have what you need for upcoming open houses. So let me get back down here for a minute. Okay. So that's how you access those resources. Your action plan during the open house: at the first contact, welcome your guests and make it a comfortable and positive experience for them right from the start. Make sure they sign in using the My White Grid Open House app or a single sign-in sheet to confirm that they provided their email and phone number, right? So you want to make sure they provide the right information. Provide guidance to the guests and clarify their readiness, financial position, and budget. Ask open-ended questions to engage your open house guests. So remember, you want to build rapport with these clients as you're going through. And sometimes it's hard because sometimes they're a little standoffish, right? They don't want to provide you with information, or, you haven't established a relationship with them yet. So, they don't really know who you are and what you have to offer. So you want to make sure that, you are building a relationship. That's the most important piece when you're taking people through. I love that nowadays, and, we are able to take back our industry, meaning when we hold an open house, we now are not allowing 7 groups of people to come through and overwhelm us and not be able to build relationships with them because we're not controlling our open house. Now we can only allow 1 group as per the state of New Jersey, right? And so we have to be safe and sound with our clients, and that allows us then to build relationships with everybody that comes through. And I hope to God that agents continue to do this consistently, even after, in a few years, when we're out of this whole COVID mess, that you're still controlling your open houses and you're not allowing multiple people to come through at one time. So educate and emphasize urgency. Discuss their current home or living situation and timeline. Use the customer buying journey to take them through the process. Be prepared to talk about the area and the current inventory for their price range. Convey typical days on market for what they're looking for, their negotiation position. And then the close is for an offer on the home or for an appointment to discuss buyer urgency and to review current market trends, as well as to convey needs and wants in their next home and clarify their budget with their mortgage advisor. So again, by the time you finished your tour with them, and hopefully you've built some relationship with them, you've got to know them a little bit and their family or whatever their motivation is, you want to ask them, by the way, are you ready to make an offer on this home? And you can make that into a, humorous suggestion, just because you want to build, you want to break the ice there. Or you can say, listen, is this a home that you can see yourself living in? And start getting information from them and start getting a feel. No, it isn't. Oh, it's not the right price point, or, you love it, but unfortunately this is higher than you want to spend. This is how you get more information from them. Great. I'd love to have the opportunity to go through a buyer, to sit with you and get to understand what your needs and wants are. Do you have time? We can do it in person or virtually this week, and then set up a time. Gloria LaForgia, I always bring her up whenever I'm doing open house training any time. And that's because Gloria has been controlling her open houses from day one. Gloria always locked the door when the group came through, and always had a sign out that said, I'll be with you shortly. I want to make sure that I have time to spend with with these potential buyers as well as you. It was said differently, but very nicely in that way. Because Gloria's mindset was, if someone doesn't want to wait, well, then they weren't interested in the house anyway, and they were wasting your time, right? So most people are going to wait. And after she took them for the tour of the house, she then would sit them on the couch and then ask them these questions. Okay, so it wasn't standing by the front door where they can just like run out. She'd say, have a seat for a minute. And the reason why she does this is because she wants them to view the house from a different view, right? Then walking around, if you're sitting down in a chair and you're looking around, you're going to see things that maybe you didn't notice. It makes it more homey, it makes it more comfortable, right? And their whole objective is for them to envision themselves in that home. So again, Having them sit down is something that she did, and then she would sit down also, and then she would start this conversation with them. And this is why she's so successful. She converts more people from open house than any other agent that I know. So action plan after the open house, follow up the day of the open house or early the next morning. I highly, highly suggest you follow up the day of the open house. By the next morning, they're already into their work day, they're already into their kids' school day, they're already into so many different things. You want to make sure they remember you and they remember the house that they went to, because they could have most likely went to several houses that day. Okay, so I suggest you either, if you have something, you have a commitment or plans after the open house, then while you're picking up your signs on the way home, you should be calling people then, or go home, get settled, relax, and then call them about 7:30 that evening to follow up. I'm telling you, it's such a great response because most people don't do it. So use the dialogue provided on slide 14 to close up the open house. If no appointment was set, review your notes and call all your guests later that day or within 24 hours. Confirm what they told you at the open house. Uncover what they really need and want from their associate in their next home, and go for a second and third close to either make an offer to make an offer or meet you to review their needs. Introduce them to your home ownership advisory team and explain the exclusive buyer agency agreement process. Follow up the day of the open house or early the next morning. Add leads into your smart CRM if they signed in any other way but on the open house app. We do have a sign in also that worked very, very well for agents, where it said, please text me your information to sign in. I'll share that with you. And so when people were at the front door, they'd have to text the agent. So the agent did not have the door unlocked so people can walk in. They'd have to text them, let them know they're there, and let them know what their names are. And so this way you have you have the correct phone number for them. And then when you have a chance, you can go into the open house app and add their information in. So this way they're then put on your a drip campaign. So add the hashtag open house, include them in the follow-up campaign, add follow-up calls and task reminders, add a note and pin to the top of their timeline. Follow up with those you sent a just listed open house mailer to, or those who RSVP'd and didn't show. Offer a private showing or a virtual tour. Ask open-ended questions. How did you hear about the open house today? How soon are you planning to buy? What types of property interest you most? What features and amenities are most important to you? What was it about the property that first attracted you? What is most important to you during the buying process? This is a great neighborhood. What is your favorite feature of this area? So a lot of just easy questions just to get to know them, just to break the ice and to build a rapport with them. Based on everything you have seen, how much would you be willing to pay for this home? If you were able to make the renovations we discussed, would this be the perfect home for you? How does this home compare to others you have seen today? That'll give you an insight on other homes that they've went to or they're planning on going to. This property has a lot of what you're looking for in a home. What would prevent you from putting in an offer? Let's set up a time for your spouse, partner, or other to preview this home. And if this is the perfect fit, we can submit an offer. How does that sound? Let's sit down and talk more about what you're looking for this week. Does Monday night at 6 sound good, or would Wednesday morning work better for you? Always giving them two choices. So based on everything you have seen, how much will you be willing to pay for this home? Not interested in this house? No problem. Have you noticed how many buyers were waiting to preview this property today? That's because there are more buyers like yourself looking for similar homes than what's currently available. Let's get together to determine what's most important to you in your next home and review local market trends. This way, when the right property comes on the market, you won't have to stand in line to see it. I have time tomorrow morning, or would Wednesday night work better with your schedule? I love that dialogue because it talks about having to stand in line, right? If they're working with an agent, then they'll most likely have an opportunity to go in, or the agent can get them in during the open house. So here's a text dialogue follow-up. Hi, Pat. It's Missy from Weichert. It was a pleasure meeting you at the open house on Sunday at 123 Main Street. I am following up to see how I can assist you in your home buying process. The market is moving quickly and timing is everything. Let's talk this week so you won't miss out when the right opportunity comes along. Do you have time this afternoon or is tomorrow better? Nice text to send. So using the scenario on the next slide, observe the sales manager, homeownership advisor, and or successful associate demonstrate engaging dialogue and closing dialogue, acting as a sales associate. Select someone in a group to play the guest based on the buyer profile provided. Divide into groups of 3 with each sales associate taking a turn as the role of the sales associate and guest. Always good to role play and do dialogue. So John Conway registers at your open house and conveyed he is visiting friends in the area and wanted to stop by. His wife is not currently with him. He's looking online but hasn't found anything. They like the area and visit their friends often. Both are programmers and work remotely. They need to sell their current home and want to be settled in by the fall. He enjoys yard work and working on this home. They have 4 large dogs and no children. They have not been pre-approved and didn't provide much feedback on this property as he wants to consult with his wife first. So with that, let's go back. So that would be a dialogue or a scenario that you could either role play together or you can role play on your own. But it's a good perception of what a buyer looks like when they come in, right? They're just stopping by, not both couples aren't there, need to sell their current home. They're just really looking, but they haven't really made the first steps because they haven't been pre-approved or know what their buying power is, right? I like that terminology better, by the way. I don't like to ask people if they're pre-approved. I like to ask them if they know what their buying power is. It just doesn't feel as personal when you say it that way, right? And again, you're just building relationships, so you want to watch how you phrase words and how you phrase some of these dialogues that we say, because we want it to sound like it's coming from us and we're talking to a friend versus we're a salesperson trying to get information from them. So anybody have any input they want to add to this open house guest profile that was added here? So this is what we're asking you to do this week or today anyway. Call 25 to 50 previous open house guests who you need to follow up with for an appointment. I'm sure, we used to have those open house sheets. I still have like buckets of them. I could probably take them out if anybody wants them. They're from years and years and years ago, but you never know. Reconnect with engaging open-ended questions to determine their status and their concerns. Be prepared to offer them valuable information that will address their concerns and or purchasing struggle. Close for a buyer's consultation, virtual or face-to-face. Stay close in touch and keep them up to date with the market. Add them to a campaign or create a search alert. Again, you have a virtual assistant built into the MyWyCart system. Make sure you're using it. That system is going to automatically follow up on your behalf and keep that client engaged. This week, continue calls and perfecting your closing dialogue. Add follow-up calls and task reminders for your action plan. Text or email a follow-up to your contacts. So every touch should include asking for an appointment. Don't be afraid to ask for an appointment, especially now that you can do it virtually. It makes it a huge difference to be able to offer a virtual appointment for maybe somebody who doesn't have the availability to come in because of children, because of work schedule, whatever the case may be. More people will be comfortable in their own space. And you can easily provide them that by doing your buyer's consultation online. So anybody have any questions? Remember, these are the activities that you need to be doing each week. Calls, appointments, door knocking properties or door hanging or drop-bys, pieces of direct mail sent, prospecting, marketing email set, listings secured, hosting open houses, leads captured on social media. So all of these things are important activities that must be done on a weekly basis. I would suggest if you're not doing any of these, pick one and make sure that you're doing it consistently until it becomes a habit. Once that becomes a habit, which usually takes about 30 days, then you can then start on another one that you're comfortable with, that you know realistically you're going to do, versus trying to do something that you know you're not going to do. We are in the best market ever, and everybody needs to take advantage of it. And open houses is still one of the best ways to do that. That's where we're seeing so much traffic. So if you don't have an open house, reach out to Stephanie. She can help you out with that. I know it's Friday now. You really should be doing this between Monday and Wednesday, so you have time to prepare properly. But again, make sure when you're preparing for your open house, you're preparing your dialogue as well. We usually just prepare making sure we have enough marketing materials in the property, but we don't think about how we're going to communicate with people when they get there, what we're going to say, you know, what we're going to look like, how we're going to present ourselves, how we're going to present the house. That's all part of hosting an open house. It's not about walking in there last minute, not even seeing the house yet, not knowing where anything is, running around to turn on lights, trying to get everything together. That's not the proper way you should be when starting an open house on a Sunday. So make sure you're prepared in every single way. And that is also by going over your dialogue. Take this dialogue with you. I'm going to send you an email. And if you have some downtime while you're there, go over it, go through it. You know, while you're sitting there, it's a good time to get more comfortable with, you know, what you're going to say and what you're going to do, you know, in your open house. So if anyone has any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I want to thank everybody for attending today. I will share with you these slides, and I hope you have a great weekend, and I hope you have an open house on the horizon this weekend. Really, really be great.
Thank you, Missy. That was great.
Good. Thank you, Jill. I hope you're feeling better.
Thank you. I'll take some of those open house sheets if you have any.
Okay. All right. I will absolutely get them for you.
Okay. Especially if, you know, Morristown, you know, anywhere.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll go in my closet right now. Yep.
Okay.
All right, guys. Have a great weekend.
You too.